Howdy folks, it's me, Manic Mark, your real fake outsider artist, coming to you from the bunker system, located underneath our villa found somewheres in the jungle of the Midwest. And today I'm coming to you with a finds video. Now this is normally the domain of the atomic queen Tink, Sideshow Tink, the queen of picking, thrift store picking and record store picking. But yesterday I went out, today being Sunday, yesterday being Saturday. I don't know when you're going to see this video because sometimes I wait a few days before I get around to posting it, but for about $40 or $45 yesterday, I stopped at 2 Goodwills and 2 record stores, and this is what I found. That's right, it was half price day at Goodwill and St. Vincent de Paul. So I'm just going to go through these records, these fine records, and just for fun. It's just going to be fun. That's what it's going to be. Now, and maybe I'll figure out something as I go along, but I don't plan anything. So there's no plan here. Once again, there's no plan, and you know that because I've said that yesterday or the day before yesterday. I have no idea. Anyway, here's a local group, the Lawson's family. Okay, this is actually a I need something to set this stuff on. I can't just set it on the floor. So I'm going to pull this chair over, and I'm going to set it on the chair. Sorry for the interruption. The Lawson family. I can't go into detail, but this one's posted on the blog. I got a couple of the Lawson family. It's local. They're out of Hamilton. Hamilton's basically Cincinnati, Hamilton. Anyway, and then this is also on the blog. It's a duplicate copy of a record I own. It's got several interesting songs on it. That's on the site. Love Is Why. Bill Strobaugh. Love Is Why. Now if you go to my blog, you can search. You can do searches now. There's a little widget or whatever, like a thing, so you can search for a name and find it more easily. Because I'm getting over 200 page views a day now on the blog. And there's over 1,000 records posted now. This was a new one. This was a local country gospel singer. He's posted to the blog Forrest, and I actually have another one of his records posted, Jewel Records, and there's just too much to go into detail. I bought this because the cover is so wonderful, but I'm getting to know all these people. Carmen Cavallero. He worked at Decca forever, like decades, and he must have made them money. And this is a 10-inch 33, early 1952, and it's got a wonderful cover on it. But I'm telling you, his music's pretty boring. The Wooten Four, what's not boring? The Wooten Four is not boring. They're a lost to history gospel group. This is a duplicate of another record I've got, but it's wonderful stuff. So you can go online and find them. And somebody who actually knows them, apparently they're still, performing, at church services. But there was really, really good stuff in here. So that's online. And then a cool find at a Goodwill was this Rumba record. Not only does it have a great cover on it, but it's actually, and it's a gold tone, budget label. It's got very interesting covers of exotica tunes on it, such as Taboo, Jungle Drums. And there's a couple of organ numbers on here. The guy that's featured on it apparently was a keyboardist. And his organ music sounds oddly similar to Corla Pandits, although I'm sure it's not Corla. And in fact, the percussion, I think, has something to do with like a weird sounding bongo in the background that sort of makes it sound like Pandits' work. Anyway, and then another obscure record that I've already blogged and researched is this Cha 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 record with this great space age cover. Isn't that wonderful? Bobby Madeira, M-A-D-E-R-A. Great space age cha-cha record, hot stuff. And for only $5, this really almost minty fresh, at least very good, excellent cover. And there's a Yuma Sumac record that I hadn't bought yet. I picked it up and I was like, this record store, this new record store, is a wonderful guy owns it, and it's just private stuff, and the prices are very reasonable, and I was very happy to get this because I didn't have it. I thought I did. I almost put it back, but then I thought, well, maybe $5 I better, and I didn't. And her stuff is just it's just out of this world. It's amazing. In the early 50s that she was popular, and you just that's, I think I found my niche, like the period of music I like, which is in the 50s and the 60s. That's my favorite period of music. Now, going on, I should probably cut all this out. Yeah, man, I don't know. Gamelan, music of Bali. I like music, folk music from countries, and Bali is one of my favorites. And this is great stuff. And I know it drives some people crazy. I made a reference online to it sounding like collared bottles swirling around in a twister and smashing into one another and creating thousands of pieces of glittering light. It's all sort of weird percussion, and a lot of it just draws you in through the tempo changes in the music. It's hard to describe. Anyway, I love it. I couldn't post a sample from it because it's still, you can still buy CDs. The company that made this recording, whenever they made it, it still offers CDs. George Shearing, as we all know, or as I found out yesterday, George died at 91 years old. There were some jazz aficionados in the record store talking about him passing away. So he left behind a great body of work and some really wonderful covers. And if you didn't know, which most of you do know, he was blind, so he didn't get to see his Capitol record covers of these stunning women. They weren't cheesecake, really. They were just elegant photographs of elegant-looking women. Wonderful photographs, and I love collecting. This is not one of it, but one of those. Although it is a Capitol release, but there are a number of them. I found a Merrill Womack record, and this is a preacher and a gospel singer that was in a plane wreck and got horribly burned. And so then he salvages what's left of his life by, basically selling himself as this burn victim who's overcome, this horrible situation that he was in, and he made records this one, if you search on YouTube, you can find this video that he did of singing in a burn ward to burn victims, like Be Happy or something, I don't know, Overcome. And then on the inside, there's a photograph of him. He put a photograph of himself with his face horribly burned there. And I understand all that, and it's amazing. And, considering how bad he is, he looks pretty good there. He looks pretty good, but the video is kind of creepy, frankly, because it's washed out, and the burn victims are just like, what are you doing here? They're not like really, I don't know if they're really into it. Anyway, okay, so there you go. Other great local gospel records. There's one there. And the Gospel Reporters. This is the second Gospel Reporters album I've got in the collection. And you hardly ever find vintage country albums at the thrift store. Apparently they're collectible because you never find them. And usually I don't buy everything. I usually leave it. But this was an off-label, a group I don't know, and it was kind of a great photograph. So I bought it just for the art because I don't really collect vintage country stuff. I'm just not going to go there. But if the cover looks nice, it's interesting, I will. Now this was cool because it's a great 60s photograph. It has something to do with it's Mario Marini. Mary, I'm just going to, because I can't pronounce names. Mario. Anyway, recorded in Italy. Italian popular hits by the Fabulous. Anyway, it just looked like a great 60s thing, and I'm not, again, it was only like 50 cents, so I bought it. Okay. All the way, I'm just going to show you the photograph, another local gospel group there. Cool, and that's what's so great about this local stuff. It's just the snapshots of the people that are doing the work. KC Records. This is probably not going to be any good. Kind of interesting cover, but generally speaking, when you have men together singing gospel, if they do it in a traditional fashion, which is like a harmony, it's just really. It's sometimes the bass is so grinding that it will literally bounce the needle out of the groove on the turntable. and every song is exactly the same, but sometimes you never know. So I always just pick it up. Henry Mancini, those of course you collectors know, but his early stuff is really fabulous. Okay, so I don't know. Let's see, Mr. Lucky's on this. Dream. This looks fairly early. It's on Dynagroove, so I'm assuming that this guy could be a good one. And the Three Sons, there's Three Sons album, Enchanted Evening. I don't remember off the top of my head. They did some experimental stuff early on, and they made a lot of records. Some of it was just pure easy listening. But I bought that. That was cheap. I got that. Another Kelly Stamper. That's a duplicate of a record that I have. And this was interesting. Power Pack. That was the same company that put out like some television show records, like Space 1999, and there's a couple others that I have. Maybe the $6 Million Man. Just a low-end company. Well, here they made this flimsy. It's almost like there's not even a record inside. The vinyl's so thin, but it's called a Steel Guitar Christmas. Okay. And a very small type on the back, they actually mentioned the artist name, Jim Baker. But I just thought, White Christmas done on the steel guitar it's probably going to be interesting. You just never know. Just you buy records that were produced very cheaply. You just never know what you're going to get. Another country album by I haven't researched the artist name, but it was a wonderful painting on the cover. I just love the painting, so I picked that up too, even though it was on Decca. That could just be a hand-colored photograph. Sorry about that. It's like, what is she looking at? I'm so surprised. Look, there's my name. Vincent Bell. I have no idea who Vincent Bell is, but there's Ebb Tide is on this record. And Brazil. A couple of popular Exotica tunes. So that looks interesting. I was interested in that. And here, this record's all but trashed on the inside. I don't know, it's going to sound horrible, but 1964 National Hot Rod Association Nationals. Okay. So what this is going to be, other than a bunch of car engines and screeching tires, I have no idea. But for 50 cents, I thought I'd give it a shot and see if it would play a little bit, because it is pretty trashed, like I said. Brooke Benton, again. I don't have any of his stuff. I have no idea, but this was a Mercury label, which the recordings are always really, really clean, very nice recordings, and the jacket was beautiful, and the record is in good condition. So I picked that up. Same thing with Dakota Staton. Sorry again if I didn't get this right. Again, don't know her, but nice cover, clean. George Shearing says Dakota is dynamic. To hear her sing for the first time is to joyously discover one of the finest jazz singers of our day. George Shearing apparently liked her. He's quoted a lot on records. I've noticed that. Everybody's got a George Shearing quote. Like he got around and listened to a lot of music and said a lot of things about other artists. Truth. The singing Hudsons. Another local gospel. Eddie Howard, have no idea, on the Mercury Wing label, the Mercury's budget label. I have no idea, but a great looking record and a great looking cover. Billy Vaughn, see again, I'm sorry, and I don't normally buy this guy's stuff, but this was a nice cover. I love the cover art, so I bought it. I'm assuming I'm not even gonna. I don't know. I have no idea. Italian Guitars on Time. Now the record store guy, I got this at like a Goodwill, but the record store guy told me that Time, and I have a few Time albums, and it hasn't clicked yet, but he said Time, the engineering is as good as Command, and or Mercury. And this is arranged by Al, what's the name? Caiola. I don't have to pronounce things, but you know the name. There you go. Normally I wouldn't buy this kind of record, but Chet Atkins, just because there's nothing I could do with it, because he's so well known, and you can't really. Everybody and their brothers blog this sort of thing, but it was a wonderful. I actually have a repro copy of that guitar. And look at all his gear in the background. He's photographed in his laboratory with his gear. I just love that. Thought I'd give Chet Atkins a whirl. Another Al, don't know his name. There's a sort of a 60s cover, and I bought a record of his called Squirrels in Space or something like that, and I didn't like it. People asked big money for it. I didn't pay much for it, but I frankly didn't like it. It was kind of irritating, so I'm hoping that he's, plays music. He has other styles that he works on. I have no idea. Now, for my good friend Natural 20, I'm going to blog this as soon as possible. This is for you, brother. Now, hopefully this guy's not, it's like a obscure sort of artist, and I'll be able to put some music online for you. But there you go. You see that there's the magic word right there, liking. Okay. Bill and Cindy. Bill and Cindy Sing Favorites. A pre-printed cover. Have no idea. There's no photograph on the back who Bill and Cindy are. Local gospel group. The High-Lows. The High-Lows, sort of like a poor man's Four Freshmen. I have no idea. I've read a couple things about the High-Lows, like what do they do? But I don't know. I'm going to figure out, because I finally cheap record, figure out who they are. Okay, autographed copy of this record by the Harvest Quartet. Notice there's 5 people on the cover. All these gospel records, why do these people always number themselves? Because the group never stays the same, and before you know it, there's 4 when there should be 3, or there's 3 when there should be 4, or when there should be 4, there's 7. I mean, the numbers never add up. It's kind of funny. I like that. Okay, just have no idea. And weird design record. There's no artist, but some kind of Latin flavored something or other, a clean record and a nice cover. The Singing K-Nets. No, this doesn't have anything to do with Kmart. It has something to do with the First Church of the Nazarene in Oklahoma City. Anyway, kind of a weird cover. Probably not. It's probably going to be choral, and I'm going to not like it, but I don't know for sure. Okay, Firm Foundation, Leon Cook. The Leon Cook family. Okay, got the Leon Cook family. There they are with their babies on the back cover. That's what I like it. These people never intended. They never foresaw the internet. And the fact, this was just stuff they sold. They went to churches, they performed, they sold a few records. There was no distribution other than that for these records. There just happens to be a lot of them around here because this was a hotbed for recording the Cincinnati area and Appalachian music, and therefore white Southern gospel music. That's why I find so many of them. But they never knew that there was going to be people, blogging this stuff, right? So I try to be nice. In fact, I love the music, so it don't have to be nice. Most times, it just comes naturally. Another one, the Stacy family, just another stock cover. What I mean by that is, it was very expensive to make a record, okay? So people were drawn to collar covers, and they couldn't afford to have a photograph taken. Sometimes there are snapshots, but the record company would say, oh, well, look, we had this cover of a church. It's in color. It's not going to cost you any more. One color. We're going to print one color black, your name, sometimes a black and white photograph. And, it's going to cost you the same as if you just you have a one color cover, and you have color, meaning like it was just one color, meaning black, usually black. You have color. So that's what I mean by stock cover. Many, many stock covers. All these like this is a stock cover, okay? This is the Oakley family. And on the back, there's a photograph of the Oakleys. There, yeah, the Oakleys. The Harmony 4. There's actually 4 people in the Harmony 4. And that I don't even. That's not good. I'm not good. Xavier Cugat on Candom, RCA Candom. I'm sure this is a re-release of some of his stuff. But the cover's kind of trash. But nonetheless. Kugat's one of my favorite. Living Guitars from Flamingo music, fun. Somebody else I've been looking to buy an album for quite some time is Billy Strange. Don't have any of his stuff. Mr. Guitar, found this one the other day. Excited to listen to it. Wayne King. Don't necessarily like Wayne King, but his covers, a number of the covers that you find on his albums, very nice art. So I bought that. It's pretty straightforward, almost like leftovers 20s or 30s big band stuff. Sort of easy listening. Another Chet Atkins album, Teenville. Found that yesterday. Percussion Espanol, Time label, double truck. Interested, that was cheap. Interested in playing that. Here's a wonderful cover on a Carib, a label I've never heard of. But look at that, Carnival Paradise. Fiery. Love it. Another great cover here. Steel Band. Looks like it's from the early 60s. A Souvenir album from the islands. Calypso music, I assume. Tropical Rhythms for Dancing. That's a great cover. I'm looking forward to listening to that. On Vic, and the Vic labels, I've got some albums on Vic they're fine albums. This one I think is just going to be guitar music. I'm not sure. Looks like from the late 50s. Kind of excited to listen to that. Now, in closing, I found this album. Okay, this is the third copy of this album I found. I found the first copy at a Goodwill, and the second copy at a antique show that was autographed, and now another copy. It's just amazing. I find so many copies of the same record. But out of all the records that I own with music that's like interesting, this woman, she wrote all her own songs. She sings them all. She's local, was local, and or who knows where she is now, but she can't keep time. It's just amazing that the words are kind of interesting too. I just want to be nice. I want to be nice, but it's one of my favorite albums with just strange music on it. Now, speaking of strange music, I haven't found a lounge record in a while, so I found this one, a group called Liberty. There they are in their tuxedos, okay? It's a local band. There they are on the back in front of the Corvette. One of the guys looks kind of like Elvis. They do a couple of disco numbers on this album, as well as some doo-wop, all right? And so I got this at a Goodwill yesterday, right? So I go to my other Goodwill looking for records, and what do I find? The same record. The same day, two Goodwills, miles and miles apart, and the same local private press group. And this is online. In fact, I've gone way over here. I was going to play one of their songs, and maybe I could just cut this. I'm just going to have to just cut this video, cut it. Maybe I could stick the song at the end of it. I'm just going to do it. What the hell? Because YouTube doesn't care anymore how long I make my videos. Only you care, and you can click the clicky thing when you're tired of it. See ya. No, wait! Here's a version of Fire by the group Liberty out of New Richmond, Ohio. Take it away, Liberty.
To my knees, I'm really smoking. The way you sway, that way really rocks my nerves. You're really something. The way you push and push lets me know you're gonna get your wish. Got that burning, you tired?